In the first moments, the lion was probably delighted that a whole group of lionesses was running towards him. However, he didn't know who he was dealing with. These females weren't planning to greet the stranger joyfully or playfully. They pounced on the lion, unleashing a hail of terrifying blows with their clawed paws. The lion is in shock. He lies on his back to demonstrate his peaceful mood. The male tries to show that he came to fight only with their leader and has no intention of harming the ladies. However, the experienced lionesses don't believe him. They know that if the stranger defeats their leader, he will start hunting the cubs. Therefore, while the lionesses are many, they decided to overwhelm the opponent with the sheer numbers. The male already regrets coming to this territory. He hasn't even met the local leader yet, and he's already beaten. And we'll show you today other impressive cases where big cats faced unexpected and fierce resistance. Hyenas found the shelter of an old leopard, which the predatory cat had arranged in the thickets of shrubbery. He made a mistake by not climbing a tree. Hyenas surrounded the panther and initiated a battle that resembled more of a beating. The fate of the leopard evokes sympathy, doesn't it? Hyenas seize him with their formidable jaws, drag him across the ground, ram him, disrupt his balance, and suppress any attempts to resist. The leopard is still strong, but he hasn't eaten for quite a long time, so he's emaciated and weakened. Hyenas capitalize on their strength advantage. They sink their fangs into him, attempt to tear the skin, and then drag the leopard into the open space surrounding him. The cat gathers the last strength for short counterattacks. Then the audacious hyenas simply drag him by the tail along the ground because the spotted panther is unable to rise. The cat even barely breathes. Making a lair in the territory of a hyena clan was a terrible mistake. These cruel and bloodthirsty predators injured the hind legs of the leopard and tore up his tail, which now resembles an old mop. Surprisingly, they suddenly stopped. The leopard couldn't offer any worthy resistance by this point. The hyenas just ceased their attacks and started sniffing out their old enemy. It seems they realized that the leopard no longer poses a threat to them. Hyenas displayed an unusual generosity for their kind and left the leopard in peace. It was challenging for him to stand on his paws, but he managed to get up. Now the spotted cat should retreat from the hyena's territory. One can only hope that he'll be able to catch food elsewhere. But the generosity of the hyenas deserves your likes, doesn't it? The mountain lion found a hearty meal and began to devour it. Even a pack of wolves should beware. However, there's a lone ranger who is about to rob the mountain lion, and it's not a bear. A small but brave Wolverine couldn't care less about who found this meat first. The cat will have to give up his lunch if it wants to keep its own skin intact. The puma tries to drive away the Wolverine, but its claws make no impression on the intruder. Without a doubt, the Wolverine lunges at the puma, launching a direct attack against a cat that is almost 3 times larger and much stronger. Certainly, the mountain lion defends itself and tries to resist. But the high pain threshold and robust fur greatly protect the Wolverine from the blows of the clawed paws. Moreover, this fearless beast moves too swiftly. It rams the puma and attempts to grab it with its fearsome jaws. The Wolverine's teeth are very sharp and large, and its jaws are powerful. In a battle with the larger opponent, this fighter attempts to tear the skin, damage the muscles, and then the vessels on the enemy's body. The Wolverine can indeed rupture the tendons on the puma's paws. This would cripple the cat, which in the harsh life of the mountain forests is fatal. And the puma retreats. 2 powerful lions picked a bad place to tangle with hyenas. They defeated and broke the neck of one of the spotted predators, but suddenly rhinoceroses appeared. These huge herbivores are not fans of hyenas, but react strongly to any action nearby. Rhinos have poor eyesight, but excellent sense of smell. Sometimes they notice a potential threat when it's right under their noses. Presumably, the rhinos simply didn't understand that the lions were only fighting hyenas and posed no threat to the herbivores. The giants decided to attack the lions merely as a precaution. It is bold, of course, but considering the beast's weight hovering around 3 tons, the rhino can afford it. The tough, textured skin serves as natural armor, and the horn is the ultimate close-quarters weapon. Rhinos have only 2 tactics. They either go for a ram, sweeping obstacles from their path, or engage in close combat, delivering a sharp and powerful upward blow that disembowels the prey. And you know what? Usually this arsenal is more than enough to deal with any opponent. In theory, 2 male lions could be a source of threat to a single rhino if they manage to attack first and bring down the massive opponent to the ground. That's why the herbivorous giant delivers a preemptive strike. In its case, a brutal attack is indeed the best defense. And the lions retreat. They scatter in different directions as the rhinoceros chases them across the valley. The lions cannot confront such a dangerous foe. The rhino has gained momentum, and even the largest land predators on the planet cannot stop such a powerful beast. It runs towards one cat, then another, trying to impale or knock down the panthers with its horn, while the predators have no clue about the reason for such aggression. To the hunters, it seems they did not provoke the rhino. The lions don't understand that their sudden movements alone are enough to provoke this living tank. It's especially amusing to watch the bewildered hyena. She is entirely helpless against both sides of the conflict. But evidently, she roots for the giant. She just tries not to make quick and abrupt movements and pretends to be a bush, hoping not to attract the rhino's attention. Meanwhile, the lion attempts, but can't quite get to the fallen hyena, which it wants to snack on. The rhino keeps running and drives the lion away from its rightful prey each time. Pretty frustrating, isn't it? But for the big cats, this should be a lesson. They won't engage with such powerful herbivores in territorial disputes. The lion was peacefully lying in the shade of the bushes, contemplating plans for future hunts, when it was spotted by a massive rhino. 9 out of 10 other herbivores would have retreated in fear from the large cat, but not this giant. For the rhino, the lion's presence was an unpleasant surprise that scared the animal. When the rhino was scared, it doesn't run. On the contrary, it tries to trample on what caused its emotions. It's pretty straightforward behavior, but it can afford it. The lion is in shock. Without reason, it's being chased away from its resting place as if it were a mischievous cat. But against a creature about 10 times more massive, the predator can do nothing. The rhino tries to get onto the shore, but gets stuck in the mud, putting its head on dry land while the hind part of the body is in the water. Admit it, when you see this scene, you start feeling sympathy for the poor giant struggling to get out of the swamp onto dry land. However, when a lioness and 2 young males notice the animal in such a position, the rhino triggers different emotions in them. The large predatory cats immediately approach the gray giant. In ordinary circumstances, even 3 predators of such size are unlikely to overcome such a dangerous and fierce enemy. 2 males with barely noticeable manes were approximately the same size as an adult lioness, who clearly surpassed them in experience. That's why she, unlike bolder lions, behaved cautiously. She understood that a 3-ton rhinoceros would easily scatter lions, trample them, and sweep them from its path. However, without space to maneuver and being stuck in the mud, this herbivorous beast turns into a helpless victim. The lions understand this and now assess the future prey with hungry eyes. They are confident that the rhino won't extricate itself through rough physical force or the adrenaline rush and fear. The main thing is not to get hit by its horn and to choose the optimal direction for a sudden fatal strike. However, the rhino sees the situation differently. It's surprised by the genuine curiosity the big cats showed towards it. Why did these audacious panthers allow themselves to get so close to him? It's intriguing, but the rhino is clearly not frightened. Rather, it's unpleasantly taken aback by the impudence, all because it is not stuck at all. The giant is simply resting, settling comfortably on the shore. The mud doesn't restrict its movements, and the mud-coated hind part of its body actually helps cool down its organism in the hot African day. The rhino didn't attempt to free itself from the swamp. It just wanted to get comfortable on the shore. Now the lions have disrupted its rest, and the enraged rhino seeks the easiest way to get to dry land and confront the cats. However, the inexperienced males don't understand this yet. They think the rhino is trapped, so one of them even jumps on the back of the herbivore's giant. This was a bad idea. The rhino gets onto the shore, the audacious lion jumps off, and recoils in shock, and the giant charges at the other male. Only the feline reflexes save the young lion from a fatal blow. The rhino chases the predators like frightened house cats. Its agility and power shock the panthers. They attempt to surround the infuriated rhino, but it shows no signs of fatigue. On the contrary, the beast raises dust clouds and scatters the predators, forcing them to retreat. Notice how quickly the rhino switches between targets, preventing the lions from going on the offensive and constantly staying in motion to suppress the predators with its activity and force. Credit has to be given to the young predators. When the rhino goes after one lion, the second male attacks from behind. But the giant instantly closes the distance, almost spins in place, and turns its horde toward this audacious cat. The lion dodges the strike at the last moment. Otherwise, the rhino would have smashed its skull. Escaping the encirclement, the rhino ultimately shatters all hopes of victory for the lions and transforms from a potential victim into a genuine living nightmare, now chasing the lions and driving them to a panic. Tigers are the largest panthers. Their impressive strength allows them to hunt and defeat buffaloes even 3 times more massive on their own. But catching prey is still necessary. The tiger underestimated its opponent. The bull turned out to be unexpectedly fast, efficiently evading the tiger until it got exhausted, allowing the hoofed creature to finally break the distance. Here, the tiger managed to sneak close to its prey to make an impressive and swift leap toward the target. However, the deer didn't panic. The hoofed animal leaped into the water. The tiger jumped after it, as the striped panther swims excellently. But the deer's cunning shouldn't have been underestimated. The hoofed animal hid in the spray and foam raised by the tiger. Then, the deer emerged, just a few yards away from the predator. The bewildered tiger is no longer able to catch the prey, and the deer is too far. Tigers can run fast, but only over short distances, so it's crucial for them to successfully approach the prey or set up an inconspicuous ambush. This deer walks straight into the predator's clutches. The motionless tiger, due to the poorly distinguishing color of the hoofed animal, is practically invisible. But something gave away the presence of the threat. The deer stops and swiftly escapes the predator as soon as the tiger lunges. The panther manages only a few leaps before realizing that the prey has slipped away. The herbivore moved too briskly. 3 adult lions want to cross the river. Generally, all panthers are good swimmers, and the 3 lion males can easily fend off even a large crocodile, even on its territory. But what the cats didn't anticipate is that these waters are home not to a predatory reptile, but to an herbivorous giant. The hippopotamus is displeased that the cats decided to swim in its water hole that it considered its own. Therefore, the 3-ton monster decided to cosplay from the shark as Jaws and sneak up on the lions underwater. Fortunately for the lions, they noticed the enemy in time and managed to scatter. However, the lions dodged the enemy's throw only at the last moment. The enraged hippo tossed the largest predators of Africa like kittens and then began to pursue them. In the water, it has an advantage in maneuverability over the felines. The lions have no choice but to escape. They barely avoid the devastating jaws' strike of the hippo, which could probably crush a mid-sized boat. Then the hippo focused solely on one target. The lion had to literally circle around the giant's muzzle to avoid the bite of the terrifying jaws. The hippo tried not only to bite through the predator's skin, but also to grab and crush its torso. The lion panics and retreats, but is saved thanks to the proximity of the shore. No more males will venture here. And today we'll show you other impressive cases in which big cats were shown that they aren't the top predators. Sometimes audacity helps where raw strength is lacking. Here, only one hyena managed to snatch prey from 3 adult cheetahs. These large cats could have driven the intruder away and given it a good beating if they acted together. The hyena is bulkier than the cheetahs, but the felines are faster, and their sharp claws can deliver fierce, lightning-fast strikes. However, the scavenger acted so boldly that the timid cats just scattered in surprise. They simply didn't expect such a stunning attack and probably assumed the presence of other hyenas nearby. In the end, they gave up their mare to the cheeky lone scavenger. Considering that cheetahs never feed on carrion, it's a very frustrating loss. The tiger attacked the lioness in vain. He thought that the female, unlike the larger male, wouldn't be able to put up a decent fight. The striped cat was wrong. The lioness struck the tiger in the face several times and sent the aggressor fleeing. The attacker tried to hide, but the lioness caught up, tackled him, and began biting so that the tiger would remember this lesson for quite a long time. The hippopotamus is one of the most ferocious, dangerous, and powerful animals in Africa. The largest predators on this continent are lions. When they gather in large groups or attack young individuals on land, the hippo is invulnerable and it can be defeated. But still, it's not advisable to mess with these giants. Quite famous was the impressive episode when a bold lioness miscalculated her strength and pounced on a hippo. But it knocked her down and grabbed her head with its mouth. The entire skull of the large predatory cat easily fit into the hippo's mouth, which tossed the lioness like a broken doll and nearly trampled her. There are much more impressive episodes of confrontation between these animals. Hippos prefer a semi-aquatic lifestyle. Short limbs and a round body might make the hippo seem slow and incapable of swift movements, but lions have learned not to underestimate the speed and agility of the giant. And this you can see with your own eyes in this scene right here. Even on land, a hippo can move with impressive speed, easily outpacing a lion pride's pursuit on short distances. During a nocturnal hunt, a dozen predators manage to corner the enemy, but the hippo breaks free, scatters the lionesses, and attempts to escape. They chase after him, but struggle to keep up. The pursuit lasts a very long time. Fresh forces arrive to replace the tired panthers and finally deprive the hippo of maneuverability. Now the hippo fights alone against more than a dozen dangerous, experienced, and adult lionesses. They literally surround him from all sides. The hippo understands that he's unlikely to survive this encounter. However, the desperation that would break the spirit of most other herbivores adds ferocity to this Terminator. Even when grabbed from all sides, the hippo manages to catch one of the lionesses with its fearsome jaws and shake her from side to side, trying to crush her skull and break her neck. She resists, scratching the hippo's muzzle, while other lionesses, in shock, try to neutralize the fearsome monster. But the hippo ignores their blows to take at least one huntress with him. This is not the only nocturnal hunt by lions on hippos. In fact, giants often emerge victorious from such fights, especially if they break through the encirclement and dive into deep water. However, even on land, the hippo is formidable. Even the capture of a mighty male lion often slips off the massive beast's body. In some cases, the hippo initiates an attack on an entire lion pride and drives them away on its own. The hippo's maneuverabilities and speed, coupled with its aggression, make this 3-ton beast one of the most dangerous adversaries for large cats in the world. While the hippo can unleash fury, it calculates its strength well and assesses the situation. If necessary, it can gather speed for a swift escape. The lionesses are shocked that they can't catch such a massive beast. Or the hippo can accelerate for a ramming attack to force the lion to retreat, getting too close to the herbivore's beloved water sources. Hippos exhibit territorial behavior and fiercely defend their favorite lakes and rivers. An adult hippo can grow up to 3 tons, similar to a rhinoceros. However, these two herbivore species have very different approaches to defense. While a rhino's skin is tough and resembles armor, a hippo's skin is smooth, making it seem more vulnerable. Nevertheless, this is not the case. The claws of lionesses and lions often just slip off the round body, and a very thick layer of fat greatly protects both the muscles and internal organs of the giant. Even a young hippo, which is approximately equal to a lion in body strength and shoulder height, can put an impressive resistance against 2 predatory males. Just look at this clash. The lions did not expect such terrifying rage from such a young individual. This hippo is about 1/3 smaller than a mature adult, but it fights not like an adolescent. One lion attacks the hippo from above and securely grabs its body with claws. Still, the hippo, even with such a heavy load on its back, charges at the second male, attempting to grab him with his fearsome jaws to crush and break his neck. Finally, the lion knocks down the hind legs of the hippo. The end? Not at all. The hippo gathers its strength and rises once again. The second lion realizes that it's necessary to weaken the hind part of the enemy, so he bites there. The hippo sees that a third lion is approaching, and only then does it desperately run towards the body. There, their battle begins. What do you think? Who will win? Let us know in the comment section. Also, share your overall opinions of the observed cases where large cats suffered defeat from their rivals and enemies. We're curious to know your opinion. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That way you'll be able to be the first to see new instances from the lives of various representatives of the wildlife world.